please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 230508.4. Old Charlie is king now, and I'm gonna have to switch my energies towards middle-aged Willie. Wait, that didn't sound right. After we've arrived at the border to the Seahorse Realm, because it turns out I have priorities and orders. Welcome everyone to This Week at Twitter, or Twat. Today we're going to start with Chris Chan trending. Yeah, the story that never ends. You've seen the movie's Never-Ending Story? Well, there's an internet equivalent. Chris Chan, a comprehensive history. The gift that keeps on giving, while that same gift tries to take from everyone else and be as irresponsible, immature, and, dumb as possible. I can't say the actual word, I'd get cancelled, and I'm hemorrhaging enough views at the moment as it is. The reason this time that Chris Chan was trending was because Chris Chan has been spotted in public. I know, what a time to be alive. Here is a picture of Chris Chan with Sonichu, of course. I assume they're holding hands, even though they're not in the picture. It's all in the mind. Coppercab had tweeted, "Some people spotted Chris Chan in the wild yesterday and acts like they've witnessed Bigfoot or some other cryptid lamau." Another user, Glitchton, Garbage King 69, cool name. Chris Chan lingers in the real world with an 18-second clip accompanying it. Now, I'm not entirely sure, because I don't pay enough attention, how Chris Chan got out of prison in the first place, but it's fascinating really to see Chris Chan just go back to the old ways. Going out and just buying what Chris Chan desperately needs, so Chris Chan can get back to some semblance, whatever, of normality. All they need now is a willing participant to pretend to be their mother. Maybe go find a stray cat and dub them Sorbet. Now, courtesy of that trending tag, we actually find out it wasn't that Chris Chan was bonded out. No, actually it was part of a court order. What a fascinating discovery this is. And before we move on, I'm going to quickly reference a tweet. White knighting for Chris Chan. Leave Chris Chan effing alone. All of you are doing all this year's doing is making her mental health worse. What is wrong with you? He never deserved it before. I see a number of contradictions in this, along with poor spelling and grammar. I am not, of course, going to correct all of that. I will have an aneurysm long before that. Instead, I will say this. I think you'll find, because certain lines have now been crossed, incest the obvious one, many will no longer give Chris a pass. Some will say, don't misgender Chris Chan. I think you have to be human first to qualify for those genders. The behaviour of Chris Chan would indicate that they are not human. Therefore, the misgendering argument is moot. If you don't like that, that sounds an awful lot like a you problem. Notice how in this I have mostly referenced Chris Chan by name. It would have been easier to use pronouns, but I don't want to use the pronouns, any of them in fact, because Chris Chan is a cretin. I don't believe Chris Chan deserves the majority of the abuse that they've received throughout their life. I really don't. But now the line has been crossed, I don't care. I really don't. Chris Chan being free is fascinating, and I keenly await to see where this story goes next. So next we go to the Washington Post. Protesters smeared paint on the case and pedestal of Edgar Degas' Little Dancer aged 14 sculpture in the National Gallery of Art in DC to bring attention to the climate crisis and demand that President Biden declare a climate emergency. Because nothing reeks of being middle class more than smearing it on glass to obscure the visual of the statue itself. If you really, really want to get his attention, you should just damage it. It's free, okay? It's priceless, but free. You can totally do that and actually take the consequences of doing legitimate protest with legitimate damage done. There is a video, don't worry, I'll play a brief clip of it to see these virtuous individuals really leaving their mark, because they're standing up to the man, everyone, and Biden is their messiah, not a naughty boy that likes to sniff kids' hair. No. He's the messiah, and he will save you by declaring a climate emergency. This will fix everything. The Washington Post also included an article in their tweet, and the article does mention the fact that both protesters, who were suited and booted, looking very inconspicuous, were taken out in handcuffs before people could be allowed back into the art gallery. I will stand by what I've often said about these middle-class white trash idiots. You are not accomplishing anything other than denying others the right to see something beautiful, see art, because you believe that people are putting more respect, more gravitas, more emphasis on art to that of life and the future. You are wrong, you are moronic, and it is possible to appreciate both at the same time. So moving away from that, we're going to talk about The Little Mermaid, or Disney's live-action remakes. Yeah, find one that everyone liked, or the vast majority liked, that weren't children and journalists. You'll find a lot of people taking great umbrage with the portrayal of characters within it. Race swapping seems quite common, but also the cartoons are just better. I grew up with them. I'm dreading Sword in the Stone, courtesy of the recently reinstated to Twitter Sugar Tits. In the new woke Little Mermaid, they made Triton a massive F-boy. How come it's okay for men to be sluts? Wow. Included an image of Ariel and her sisters, encompassing the entire rainbow of ethnicity. And yes, Triton is a man whore. He a slut. Dizzy D, another YouTuber, Twitch streamer you should check out. The more I look at this image, the more annoyed I get. The light sources come from the top left and every mermaid has a light source hitting them from different directions. What is the mermaid to the far right holding into? The lack of shadow from Ariel's hair on the other mermaid compared to the bottom left yellow mermaid's shadow cast onto the pink-haired mermaid. Also, the pink-haired mermaid, if you super zoom in, I'm sure you can see green screen just around her pink hair. Disney, why? There's a point here. This is supposed to be a promo picture, but it looks like trash. They all look like they were just slapped onto the image instead of being a part of the image. It looks like a cheap pantomime poster. But I think many still take issue with these live-action remakes because the ginger side is real, everyone. Even though I'm okay with the ginger side happening, the same as the Brony Menace being exterminated. I do think if you, the film company, intend to, or the monopoly film company in the form of Disney, intend to reboot all your cartoons in live-action form, Peter Pan's taking a pasting right now, by the way. Yeah, cringe. Might I recommend, instead of making it quite obvious you are solely doing this to make merch, instead focus on making sure your product doesn't look like shite. Now next we're going to talk about Steven Crowder, but not directly. The discussion concerning his marital issues. No, we're not going to get into that. It will only end one way for me with mass downvoting. I don't need that in my life. Instead we're going to look at one response to it. Def Noodles. Nah bro, why is it so funny to see these Crowder simps rage and destroy their little porcelain coffee mugs after Steven got cancelled? When I mentioned marital issues, there is a video doing its rounds of Steven speaking to his then wife in a rather, let's say, rude, obnoxious way. It didn't work very well, and obviously with it being shared to social media, makes him look like the world's biggest prick. That's not to say his ex or current, I can't remember which now, isn't equally as much of one. Yeah, I'm not getting involved in that aspect. But understandably, the reaction to this of smashing your mug club mugs comes across as a bit cringe. That's the only part I really wanted to share, and definitely wouldn't want to share more until everything is out there. I do believe Steven Crowder is responding to it all publicly at some point, or if he hasn't already, he probably has and I've just not noticed because he's on Rumble, and you should all follow me there anyway, because, well, we need the attention, okay? 1,000 followers by the end of the year! Let's move on. Just because this tickled me so much, I saw this image doing its rounds of this podcast, I think. I see some Game Boys on the counter and that already has my attention. But the names accompanying the image. Been enjoying this podcast, great takes from Ashley, Rachel, Tiffany, Gorlock the Destroyer. I found a video clip as well, and it tickled me.
Hi, I'm Kiko. I'm 23. I go to UCSB, and I also bartend.
One thing I like is that the internet really is forever, and you have to be a particular type of boomer to think you're above the internet. Comment Cop is fantastic for picking out these things. For example, Leafy tweeted, "Transgenders are fake." Keffals replied, "If transgenders are fake, how did I just ratio you?" It failed, and the tweet was deleted. Not long after, Leafy tweeted, "Why am I blocked?" Huh, one does have to wonder. At the same time, Keffals has me blocked, has many people blocked, because Keffals likes to maintain an echoed chamber rather than an open forum for discussion. But also, Keffals is a con artist, a grifter, a rather successful one. Let's go with that. Also, very protected by the online sphere. So to move away from that, let's go with some audience participation. On the screen you have an image, images 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. The tweet was from Food Porn, the original. How do you like your hashtag bacon? There is only one correct answer here. If you get it wrong, I won't block you. Don't worry, you are welcome to be wrong, but I will tell you you're wrong. I'm not going to tell you what the correct answer is though, because I don't want to spoil the adventure of trying to get it right knowing there's a risk you'll get it wrong. Do tell me in the comments and drive up that engagement by smashing the like on this video as well. Thank you. So next, occasionally I pay attention to Twitter and read some rather amusing threads, and when I do, I stumble across something that is quite frankly golden. Moondragon. Yeah, I'll have to give the blue top selfie a miss. You can see way too much through my top, lol. I blame myself for buying it cheap off Amazon. Amazon replied, "We're so sorry to hear about this. You can find more information about how to request a return for a refund available here. Lol." Morally Grey Wolf replied, "WTF, are you stalking my friend? She didn't even tag you." I think for the sake of it, someone for Amazon Help has just looked through the tag for Amazon itself, just the word Amazon, and they'll see things all the time, and someone's just caught it and thought, okay, I'll indulge in this one. It is a bloke that's replied, so no doubt he's looked at her and gone, oh. Because, as it turns out on Twitter, a lot of guys are very thirsty. Really, really thirsty. Obscenely thirsty. The final thing I want to look at, courtesy of Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, retweeted the Hodge twins, who were basically dabbing on these two idiots in the tweet there. It's a video, it's kind of cringe. Carl retweeted with, "These young men are so embarrassingly feminine. Stefan Dolget. I didn't realize that a bearded pile of dough could have opinions on femininity, but now I know." Carl retweeted that with, "I don't really feel like a pile of dough to be honest, Stefan, but thank you for giving me another opportunity to flex my weight loss and admire the quality of my beard." Yeah, Sargon is, he's been on a weight loss journey. Turns out he's done better than the dainty girls. There are many people who look at Carl and frown because he has either shot them, he has made himself look like a twat one too many times over the years, and there are many creators that I respect that do not like Sargon of Akkad. For example, Jeff Holiday and Wizard of Cause. I still follow both of their careers. I'm quite enjoying the fact that Wizard of Cause is currently living his life in a bus, which is awesome because he's not having to put up with ridiculously high rent rates or being looked down upon by other, well, let's say more snobbish people. I'm glad he is to an extent free and his cat is adorable. I'm not reading these tweets by the way, but at the same time, if you have an opinion on this, do let me know. I am actually quite interested to know what you think when it comes to differing perspectives concerning creators who are as controversial as Sargon of Akkad. But also seriously, we need to try and up the engagement, and I'd like to try and encourage that. If you did enjoy the video, smash the like, leave a comment, and if you're new here, please subscribe. It really does help us. I don't want to have to give my play button back. Thank you.